My friend, listen carefully. They say a woman's tears never fall to the ground without reason. But what if those tears turn into the fire that shapes her destiny? This is the story of a wife who gave everything, her love, her loyalty, her trust, only to be betrayed by the man she called husband. Yet, when the world thought she was finished, life whispered back to her, "Rise." What happened next shook an entire community, and the lesson is one we all must remember. My friend, if this story has touched your heart so far, don't forget to show some love. Click the like button, share this tale with someone who needs its lesson, and subscribe so you never miss the wisdom and drama stories like this one. Now, let us return to the journey, because what happens next will leave you speechless. Amara was the kind of girl you would notice even in a crowded market. Not because she was loud, no, not because she was rich either, but because of the way she carried herself. She had the kind of smile that could convince you that tomorrow would be better, even if today felt like fire. Her eyes, they were full of questions about the world, and yet they carried hope. From her youth, Amara dreamed of love. Not the kind of love that is shouted in songs or painted on billboards. No, she dreamed of the kind of love her grandmother once told her about. The kind where two souls become one, where kindness guides a home and respect becomes a roof that shelters children. So when she met Chaik, her heart believed it had found its resting place. Chaik was a man who knew how to speak. You know, there are men whose tongues are sweeter than palm wine. Every word is coated with honey. Every promise served like a royal feast. That was Chaik. He told Amara, "You are my tomorrow, my sunshine, my reason for breathing." He told her, "If you walk away, the ground beneath me will break." And Amara, with her tender heart, believed him. She gave him her trust. She gave him her laughter. She gave him her silence when he shouted. She gave him her strength when he was weak. But what did Chaik give her in return? Pain. The kind of pain that eats the bones but leaves the body walking. First, it was small lies, then bigger ones, then long nights when he never came home, then whispers in the village that Amara's husband had been seen with other women. Still, she stayed. Why? Because her heart whispered, "One day he will change. One day, the man I love will come back." But sometimes, my friend, hope could be a prison. It was a Sunday afternoon when the truth struck like thunder. Amara was returning from church, her Bible pressed against her chest. Her feet carried her home quickly because her spirit was light. But as she entered her compound, laughter echoed from her house. Not just any laughter, a woman's laughter. Her heart froze. She pushed the door, and there, inside her own bedroom, was Chaik, with another woman, not hiding, not ashamed, laughing, as if Amara was invisible. In that moment, Amara's heart cracked, not just from betrayal, but from the weight of knowing this man, the one she poured her soul into, never truly valued her. When Amara confronted him, expecting apology, expecting regret, what did he say? He laughed. He told her she was nothing without him. He told her no man would want a woman like her. And that day, Amara broke. After the betrayal, Amara became like a shadow of herself. She moved through the village like a ghost, eyes heavy, steps weak. Food lost its taste. Songs lost their sweetness. Even the sun seemed too bright for her pain. People whispered, "Ah, have you heard? Chaik has destroyed Amara. She will never rise again." And for a while they were right. Amara stayed indoors for days, staring at the wall, asking the heavens, "Why me? What did I do wrong? Was my love not enough?" Her tears became her closest companion, her pillow, her witness. The elders say, when the drum breaks, the dance stops. For Amara, her drum had shattered. Her dance was gone. But what she did not know was that destiny had not abandoned her. One morning, after many weeks, Amara forced herself to the village well. Her throat was dry, her body weak. As she bent to draw water, a voice spoke. Do not let yesterday's storm wash away tomorrow's harvest. She turned. It was an old woman, her back bent but her eyes sharp like an eagle's. The woman stared at her as though she knew her pain. Child, the old woman continued, a tree that bends does not mean it is broken. You are not finished. Amara wanted to speak, but her lips trembled. The old woman simply smiled, touched her hand, and walked away. Amara never saw her again. But those words, they planted something in her, a seed. For the first time in months, Amara felt a spark, small but real. From that day, she began to rise. Not all at once. Healing is not a straight road. Some days she still cried. Some nights she still dreamt of Chike's betrayal. But each morning she tried. She swept her compound. She cooked her meals. She sang again, softly at first, then louder. She visited her neighbors, offering smiles even when her heart was heavy. And slowly, life began to return. People noticed. Ah, see Amara. She is glowing again. But behind her strength, something else was growing, determination. She vowed, never again will I let my worth be defined by a man's hands. Never again will I bow my head to insults. I will rise. My friend, that was only the beginning. Because while Amar was learning to stand again, Chike was plotting something darker. He was not finished with her. And what came next would shake the entire village. The night was heavy with silence. The woman sat by the dying fire, her eyes glowing with unshed tears. But those tears were no longer weakness. They were the fire that would fuel her tomorrow. They say, when a woman is pushed to the wall, she learns to climb it. And that night, she decided she would no longer bow her head in shame. She would rise, not just for herself, but for every woman who had been mocked, silenced, or betrayed. Days passed, and whispers spread across the village like harmattan wind. People said, her marriage is finished. She will never survive. But little did they know, she was preparing her answer, not with words, but with action. Her husband thought he had won. He flaunted his betrayal in the open, walking proudly with his new woman, laughing loud enough for the neighbors to hear. But arrogance is like smoke. It always betrays the fire behind it. One morning, while the cock crowed, she tied her wrapper firmly around her waist and went to market. She bought palm oil, dried fish cassava, and a basket of cola nuts. People stared, whispering, what is she planning? But she said nothing. Instead, she worked. From dawn to dusk, she prepared food, sold goods, and traded wisely. She saved every coin, hidden away where no betrayer could touch it. And slowly her hut, once filled with sorrow, began to echo with quiet strength. Her mother used to say, a river that forgets its source will dry up. She remembered her roots. She leaned on the wisdom of the elders, the prayers of the ancestors, and the strength that came from within. It was not long before the community began to notice. While her husband wasted money chasing pleasure, she built her fortune stone by stone. The very people who once pitted her now greeted her with respect. Women came to her for advice. Men lowered their voices when she passed. And her husband? Oh, his pride began to crack. At first, he laughed when he heard of her success. What can a woman build without a man? He said. But soon the laughter died, for while he grew poorer, she grew richer. It is said, when the drummer changes the beat, the dancer must adjust his steps. And my friend, the beat of her life had changed. One evening, as the sun bled red into the horizon, her husband came to her door. His voice was softer than before, almost pleading. Wife, he said, let us forget the past. Come back to me. We can rebuild. She looked at him long and hard. Then she spoke words that cut deeper than any knife. You left me for dead, but I rose. You threw me into the fire, but I became gold. Now you return, not out of love, but out of need. Tell me, where were you when I cried alone in the night? Where were you when the world mocked me? Silence. He had no answer. The villagers watched from a distance, holding their breath. For in that moment, everyone knew this was no longer the weak, broken woman they once pitied. This was a lioness who had found her roar. From that day, her life became a beacon. She built a business that stretched beyond the village, trading palm oil and spices across towns. She sent her children to school, teaching them that dignity is worth more than gold. Her husband, once proud and boastful, was left to wander in shame. He became the story mothers told their sons. Do not let pride blind you, or you will lose the treasure in your hands. And the woman? She never remarried. She said, the sun does not rise twice in the same place. My happiness is mine to guard. My friend, listen. A marriage without respect is like a pot without a base. It cannot stand. Betrayal may wound, but it cannot destroy one who knows her worth. Remember the proverb, a woman is like a calabash. You may throw her to the ground, but she will not break. She will bounce back. So let us learn from her story. When life betrays you, when people turn their backs, do not bury your head in sorrow. Rise, work, build. For the world respects not your tears, but your strength. And that, my friend, is the end of her journey. From ashes to honor, from betrayal to triumph. She showed us that no wound is too deep for healing, and no fall too heavy for rising. If this story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs strength today, and subscribe so you never miss the wisdom of stories like this one. Tell me in the comments, what lesson did you learn from her life? Until next time, stay blessed. For the ancestors say, even the longest night ends with the sunrise.